Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show, where I help you spend your wine dollars wisely. We are continuing with our observation of Oregon Wine Month, which is May. And we started off, of course, with Pinot Noir, which is what Oregon is famous for. But they also do quite a few other things, including red blends. Now, I will say this, there are not a ton of red blends that I've ran across from Oregon. I was digging through my cellar and pulled out one. I'm not including it on the episode because you couldn't possibly get this one. It was a 2010 Quaddy North Bordeaux style blend. But I'm excited to see how that one's developing. I am going to do another episode on aging inexpensive wines. That is my most popular episode that I put out, so I'm going to do a follow-up one of that. I think everybody will be excited about that. There was quite a few comments on that episode. One guy said, no, you can't age inexpensive wines. And a lot of people, though, appreciated some of the things the elements that you look for in a wine, regardless of the price, that will help it to age. But let's forget all that right now and focus on Oregon red blends. Now, these both come from the same winery. These both come from Del Rio. We looked at one of their Pinot Noirs, but these were the only two red blends that I actually carry at the store. And so why not? Let's look at some red blends from Oregon. Non-vintage, Rock Point, red wine, Bordeaux style blend, $14. Non-vintage, that's so crazy. You know, I looked at this and I didn't even notice that it didn't have a vintage on it. So when it's non-vintage, they blend different vintages, and a lot of wineries like to do that because they can get the, certain qualities out of the wine that they want, and they can also use leftover juice, and that works really well for a lot of wineries. So yeah, here we go, non-vintage Rock Point red wine. This rolls in at $14. Stan, do your research before you start this. Right? Yeah, it's happened a couple of times, right? Non-vintage. Okay. Bordeaux style blend. When you say Bordeaux style blend, you're talking Cab Merlot, Cab Franc, possibly Petit Verdot. Of course, you guys know how I feel when they do not put the blend on the label, and that, a lot of people, just for winemakers and wineries' sake. And I know why they don't do it, because it costs you money to change the label. So if the percentages on the wine change, you have to make a different label. That costs money. So I get it. I understand from that aspect of it. But the consumer does like it. You don't even have to put percentages. Just put Cab Merlot, Cab Franc, Petit Verdot, whatever, a little Syrah maybe. Just put that on there. You can always keep that on there. Anyway. But I get it. I talked to a few people about that. Why don't you put the blend on there? And they said, well, it costs us money. When you have a small production winery, that can really break the camel's back, so to speak. So yeah, I understand. I get it. Any comments on that from you guys? Do you appreciate the fact that it might cost them a little more money to print new labels every year? Or do you still want them to see, at least put the grapes on there? I want to hear your comments. I want to hear how you feel. I like to see it, but I understand why they don't do it. So this is non-vintage. They blended vintages, and this is very, very dark. In fact, you almost can't see through it. I'm calling it black, purple black. So we get on those. Currants, for sure. A little bit of a mint, almost eucalyptus thing coming through, which is very interesting. Almost meaty on the nose. I'm getting some violets as well. Interesting, that eucalyptus kind of minty thing coming through. Currants, for sure. Dark fruited nose. Let's just go there. See what we get on the palate. Kind of grippy tannins. Definitely grippy. This needs some food, for sure. But currants come through nicely. Get just a slight hint of the mint on the palate. Good balance, a little simple, a little on the simple side. I might even be getting a touch of chocolate, which I did not get on the nose. Slightly earthy, that mint, cherry, or currant, and just a touch of grip on the tannins. Nice, easy to drink, needs food, red. I would think for 14 bucks, this is a home run as far as delicious, simple, nice long finish though, not super complex, but interesting enough. I'm going to go BB+. Let's move on. From the same winery, but says Del Rio right on it. This is actually Rock Point. So this is another project of theirs, Rock Point Winery, because it says produced by Rock Point. This is a Del Rio. Not another non-vintage. Are you kidding me? It is another non-vintage from Del Rio. This is 13.5 alcohol. Produced and bottled by Del Rio Vineyards. This is a Jolie Rouge from Oregon. $14. Crazy, 2 in a row. Who knew? I do look at the bottles before I shoot these episodes, and sometimes I just don't even notice until I start doing it. There's no vintage on the wine. Again, non-vintage wines are, you don't see them a ton, let's just say that. But they definitely give the winemaker some freedom to mess around with some juices that he wasn't using in the other vintages and the current vintage, and then he blends them all together. And oftentimes it turns out pretty good. I like the Rock Point wine. I went straight up B on that. Let's see what we get on the nose with the Jolie. Well, let's look at the color first. Very similar to the other one, maybe a slightly lighter. So this is a Bordeaux blend as well, which could mean, as we said, Merlot, Cab Franc, maybe a little Petit Verdot. Sometimes, oh wait, hey, it says it. A rich composition of Merlot, Cab, and Syrah. There you go. Nice job. They put it on that one. Merlot, Cab, and Syrah. This is a pretty cool label. What do you think about these types of labels? These almost like painted on labels versus, let's say, a paper label. What's your feeling on that? I want to know. I do. Let's see what we get on those. This has a little bit like an old library book on the nose, and it's not corked. It's a screw cap, guys. Even a little book action, a little bit of currants on this one as well. Maybe just a hint of bacon fat. Not super. It doesn't smack you in the. It doesn't smack you in the aromatic category. Let's just say that. Let's see what we get on the palate. A little bit empty. Yeah, I'm going to go empty on this one. I mean, it's not terrible at all. By any stretch of the imagination, it's not terrible. It's just not a lot going on. I get currant notes right hit up front. There's a real kind of vacuum. Right after the beginning of the mid-palate, just kind of disappears. Then it comes back, and you get just a slight bit of tannin, a little bit of earthiness coming through. The currants kind of hang on the backside, but I don't like that void in the middle at all. I do not like that. Yeah, just before the finish, it kind of disappears, and then it comes back again. It's a good wine. It's definitely serviceable. I mean, I wouldn't feel bad about selling it. I don't think anybody would feel like they were ripped off at $14. I do like the finish on the very back end. I do like that it hangs on the backside. It's really weird that it has that kind of emptiness right after the mid palate before the finish. That kind of bothers me just a little bit. It's not terrible. This does not necessarily need food. The tannins are there, but they're not as grippy as the ones on the Rock Point. Yeah, definitely disappearing act on the finish. I'm not super disappointed in this wine. I think it's okay. Okay means C. This is a C wine. $14, not bad. I wouldn't, like I said, I would not feel bad about selling it. I do sell it at the store, and for $14, I don't think a lot of people would be disappointed. I get kind of a brightness on the currant notes, almost like they kind of pop a little bit on the backside. That's so weird. It is so weird. I mean, the initial attack, you get the currant notes, good acidity, but then it's like that disappearing that kind of bothers me. I think it's an average wine for $14. C wine. There you have it. Oregon Wine Month, a couple red blends from Oregon, the Rogue Valley area, Southern Oregon. Not terrible. I think the Rock Point a little bit better than the Jolie Rouge. So it's hanging on a bit, but still a C, maybe hedge towards a C+. Thanks for taking a little time out of your day. I appreciate it. Thank you to all those who have subscribed to the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, just hit the subscribe button and you'll be able to see what's coming up next. You keep watching and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.